The shocking truth about how chasing women's acceptance shatters your identity that most men ignore. In the twisted maze of romantic fantasies, countless men lose themselves completely. You think you're being charming, suave, but in reality, you're simply a puppet dancing for validation. The young guy waits anxiously for her text, his heart racing with hope, until he realizes it's a trap, leading him to a lonely abyss. And what about the middle-aged dude? Locked in a loveless routine, he's rotting away, dreaming of what could have been, while life slips through his fingers like sand. These men, once bursting with vitality, now commit the brutal sin of becoming shadows, reflections of what they think women desire, and it's suffocating. As they lay their authenticity on the sacrificial altar of acceptance, they unveil a dark truth. The deeper they delve into these illusions, the further they drift from the men they were meant to be. Hey, before we continue, I need to give you an important warning. Many subscribers who are already on this transformation journey have reported that YouTube removed their subscriptions without notice. Just take a quick look at the red button down there to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content that's coming. This could transform your life. And if this content is making sense to you, leave a like. This helps me reach other men who are going through the same difficulties as you, and who need these truths as much as you did. Oh, and tell me in the comments, what city are you watching from? I want to know if I'm managing to help men from all corners, because I know these situations are universal. Every comment of yours shows me I'm on the right track to help those who really need it. You are condemned to be free. Jean-Paul Sartre. Sartre, a towering figure of existentialist philosophy, delved deep into the complexities of human authenticity and the weight of societal expectations. Living through the challenges of the 20th century, he explored how external influences can distort one's true self. In today's world of both superficial connections and relentless social media pressures, millions of men grapple with the consequences of losing their identity for the sake of acceptance. You were taught that romance is a grand saga, where love conquers all, and persistence will eventually unlock her heart. The fairy tale narratives sold through glossy magazines and heartwarming rom-coms paint a vivid image of the smooth-talking hero, winning over his dame with charm and relentless devotion. You envisioned your life as a movie montage, where every act of bravery brings you one step closer to her embrace. Society, your family, the media, their voices echoed through your mind, embedding the belief that you must mold yourself into what she desires. They fed you a story littered with lustrous fantasies, a male archetype shaped not by authenticity, but by carefully curated desires and an insatiable quest for validation. But nobody told you that the very chase you embarked upon transforms you into a jester in a cruel theater. With every sycophantic act you performed, every text sent in anxious anticipation, you were weaving a noose around your identity. You thought you were playing the game, but in reality, you were shackling your true self with invisible chains of expectation. Your worth became a fragile commodity, bartered in a marketplace of shallow encounters and transient affections. The weight of these illusions built a maze, ensnaring you in an echo chamber where your desires became unrecognizable. It's a trap that leads to despair. One moment you feel invincible, and the next you're grappling with the haunting question, who am I without her approval? And you felt this, perhaps in the pit of your stomach when she ignored your call, or the clenching sensation in your chest when she laughed with another man. Every insecurity you pushed aside swelled unexpectedly, poisoning your sense of self. Have you ever noticed the way your laughter fades when she's not looking? Or how your conversations transform into hollow exchanges, void of passion and depth? simply to match her mood. This emotional theater steals your authenticity, leaving behind only a shadow, a semblance that responds to her whims while your truth remains buried beneath layers of pretense. You are familiar with that hollow ache, the kind that whispers to you, begging for recognition amidst the charade. But here's the truth that Sartre knew well. Freedom lies not in submission, but in embracing the uncomfortable paths of self-discovery and rejection of societal molds. You may sense that there's more to her, to love, that remains hidden in plain sight. What Sartre understood about the intricate dance of desire and identity may very well shatter your understanding. Because the reality of feminine nature and your interactions will reveal a truth buried beneath illusions, one that demands you confront the darkness in order to reclaim the light. Are you ready to unearth those brutal revelations lurking in the shadows of your understanding? The journey into the depths of your masculine identity is just beginning, and here you are, standing at the edge of your own existence, grappling with shadows of what you were promised versus the stark reality you now inhabit. You scroll through endless feeds, glancing at curated lives, wondering where the disconnect happened, where the thrill of pursuit turned to an agonizing maze of uncertainty. The vibrant life you imagined slips through your fingers, replaced by a dull ache of confusion, festering every time your phone buzzes, or worse, when it doesn't. The disparity between your aspirations and this freezing void stings like a cruel reminder. Whatever you sought has transformed into something unrecognizable. You feel this when she suddenly goes cold. Your texts become echoes in a cavern, unanswered yet hauntingly present. Every time you muster the courage for a conversation, only to be met with disinterest or distraction, you're trapped in a vacuum where your worth withers. Every man recognizes that crippling sensation as the weight of unmet expectations blankets your chest. You recall nights spent replaying every moment, scrutinizing her laughter with another, feeling like a mere spectator in your own life. When you walk on eggshells, searching for the right words, the laughter feels lesser, depriving you of your own joy while desperately hoping to salvage a flicker of interest. And the worst part is, with each passing moment, self-doubt seeps into your bones, erasing your essence. But why does this continue? You have become an emotional slave, tied to a performance that was never yours to deliver. Every smile you fake becomes another layer in a mask that feels heavier with each passing day. What began as wanting to be loved has devolved into a never-ending act, each gesture rehearsed, every laugh timed to elicit her approval. You've woven a noose of expectation around your identity, shackling your authenticity to fit an ideal that was never real. This theater of demeaning sacrifices plays out, with you as both actor and audience, prisoners of a script penned by invisible hands. The subtle manipulation goes unnoticed until the pain twists your gut, and you find yourself questioning your very worth. All the while, you're shackled to someone who doesn't see your true self. As you navigate through the detritus of relationships, the gnawing emptiness grows. Externally, you seem to achieve the things society claims should bring happiness: professional success, social validation. But internally, there's an echoing void. You gave everything, drained your spirit for fleeting connections. Yet this void only deepens. The applause fades, leaving you to question, who are you in this relentless pursuit? The laughter of friends dimmed, hobbies disregarded, your essence consumed by the relentless desire for her approval. The absurdity of your situation presses against your heart. Why do you feel more lost than ever? Why does every triumph taste hollow against the backdrop of your reality? Tomorrow, we will peel back these layers. We will confront the true philosophical reasons behind your suffering, the foundation of this twisted love you've chased. Keep your mind open. For the revelations lurking in the shadows might finally illuminate the path to reclaiming your lost self. But Sartre knew there was a fundamental disconnect between the romantic ideal and the harsh reality of existence. He understood that modern confusion, the chaotic search for validation through relationships, is rooted in a long-standing struggle faced by humanity. While many today drift aimlessly in the turbulent waters of romantic pursuits, Sartre was a beacon of clarity in a time of intellectual fog. He recognized the existential plight of individuals long before contemporary thinkers began to engage with the complexities of human nature. His insights remain pivotal, guiding us toward understanding ourselves amid the overwhelming noise of societal expectations. Born in 1905 in Paris, Sartre emerged into a world engulfed by turmoil, witnessing the aftermath of 2 world wars and the disarray of the human condition. His experiences during these tumultuous periods forged a unique perspective, one shaped by suffering, observation, and rebellion against accepted norms. Confronting personal challenges, including a struggle with identity and despair over societal constraints, Sartre sacrificed comfort for truth. He lived a life dedicated to uncovering the essence of existence. Diving deep into philosophical inquiry while challenging the prevailing dogmas of his time, this unwavering commitment to authenticity grants Sartre a distinct credibility. He explored themes that resonate deeply in today's context, particularly concerning human relationships. Sartre's methodology was as brutal as it was illuminating. He rejected the temptation to romanticize human connections, opting instead to unveil the often unflattering realities of our motivations and desires. His careful observations led him to conclusions others shied away from, sparking outrage in a society eager to uphold ideals rather than confront inconvenient truths. He analyzed the ways people mask their intentions, especially in the realm of love and relationships, revealing that the pursuit of validation often strips individuals of their true selves. While politically correct thinkers blurred the lines with platitudes, Sartre had the courage to articulate uncomfortable realities, insisting that our relationships are often riddled with self-deception and emptiness. Centuries before you were born, Sartre anticipated the very issues you grapple with today, the conundrum of feeling inadequate and lost in the pursuit of others' approval was laid bare in his works, wherein he dissected the complexities of gender relations and the inherent power dynamics at play. He perceived the dance between desire and authenticity far more acutely than many contemporaries. His observations remain strikingly relevant. The disillusionment you experience reflects his understanding of a deeper existential crisis that resonates through generations. Sartre's intellectual rigor informs the very essence of what you are now facing, an echo of the fears and hopes that have haunted men throughout history. As we delve deeper into Sartre's discoveries about human nature and relationships, you will uncover revelations that explain the profound suffering and confusion you experience. He illuminated the shadows lurking within the psyche, revealing truths about feminine nature and relational dynamics that resonate with your ongoing struggles. Prepare yourself for insights that promise to challenge what you thought you knew. For Sartre's legacy holds keys to understanding the invisible chains constraining your identity. What he discovered in the dark corners of existence might just illuminate the path to your liberation. And what Sartre discovered was a profound contradiction in the dance of attraction. While society romanticizes the idea of genuine affection as pure and selfless, Sartre saw a mechanical reality beneath the surface. He noted how men often chase the mirage of love, believing they must conform to a desired ideal to win a woman's approval. However, what truly transpired was a complex interplay of instinct, strategy, and survival, revealing not just the dynamics of attraction, but the profound effects on masculine identity. As we dive into this abyss of understanding, prepare for a revelation that will shift your perspective. The first brutal truth lies in the unconscious qualification tests that many women engage in, a behavior that often goes unnoticed by men. Sartre observed that women, shaped by evolutionary demands, inherently assess potential partners against a subconscious checklist of traits: stability, status, resources. This process is not malicious, but an instinctive survival strategy crafted over millennia, driving the quest for security and genetic viability. Men find themselves ensnared in this complex game, mistaking her reactions as mere preferences, rather than the rigorous evaluations they truly represent. This evaluation framework resonates universally, yet many men remain blind to its existence, unknowingly reinforcing their own suffering. The mechanism behind this behavior is rooted in biological imperatives and societal conditioning. Women, as the historical caretakers of offspring, have developed an innate drive to seek those who can provide greater security and resources, ensuring the survival of their genes. Consequently, this variously translated through behaviors and reactions, often perceived as emotional manipulation. It's not out of cruelty, but rather a necessary adaptation to ensure survival in a world where options are often limited. Men, while striving to fulfill the prescribed roles, unwittingly fall into the trap of self-neglect, striving to meet markers of approval while sacrificing their authenticity. The game they play is not of love, but of approval, a tactic dictated by deep-seated evolutionary instincts. This understanding of the qualification process is both illuminating and devastating. It explains the pattern of emotional tumult experienced when the affection sought becomes entangled in the complexities of desire and validation. Were you aware of how your attempts to garner love often devolve into tests of worthiness? Every time you shifted your personality, stifled your needs, or curated your responses to align with hers, you played along in a game rigged against you, dismissing your own reality for a fleeting moment of acceptance. These experiences echo painfully with what you encountered in Chapter 2, the hollow ache when your worth rested on someone else's approval. Why do you feel invisible amidst such desperate efforts? How did the chase transform you into what you thought she desired, actively pushing away the man within? This is only the first layer of a much deeper and more disturbing truth that Sartre discovered. With every insight, we unearth further dimensions of relational dynamics that leave the integral male essence compromised. Hold on to these revelations, for the next chapter promises even more sophisticated mechanisms that will challenge your understanding of gender dynamics and the true nature of fulfillment. Are you ready to confront the darkness hiding in plain sight? But Sartre went beyond observation. He dissected the psychological control mechanisms plaguing romantic pursuits that skewer the masculine identity. In this chapter, we will dive into specific mechanisms of emotional manipulation, revealing the how of these dynamics and how they function within relationships. The insights are not merely theoretical. They paint a vivid picture of how men become unwitting participants in their own emotional imprisonment. One prevalent emotional control technique involves intermittent reinforcement. Imagine this scenario. You initiate a text, sending a playful message, anticipating her response. At first, your phone buzzes with excitement when she replies. Your charm worked. However, the next day, you send another text, only to face deafening silence. The psychological underpinning here is that occasional acknowledgement creates a roller coaster effect, leaving you craving her attention. Each positive interaction amplifies your desire for more, tying your emotional stability to her unpredictable responses. While you think that you're fostering deeper connections through shared interactions, she's actually cultivating your obsessive chase for validation, manipulating your feelings in this silent dance of power. And here's the most subtle part. This dynamic escalates progressively. Initially, her responses are warm and affirming, but as your need for validation intensifies, she begins to withdraw affection. You find yourself texting more frequently, trying to elicit similar responses. Perhaps she doesn't respond to your greetings at a social event, temporarily leaving you in a cold void. In this moment, you might not recognize the gradual tightening of emotional chains. Every unreciprocated message serves to reinforce your role as the performer struggling for approval. Each chase feels like a game, but the reality is a meticulous strategy, ensnaring you in layers of emotional dependency. As Sartre articulated, you become increasingly engulfed in a reality where your essence is tethered to her whims, a dark mirror reflecting your diminishing self. As the control escalates, you may unwittingly adopt roles based on her shifts in behavior. Perhaps she employs a strategic silent treatment after a disagreement, effectively muting your voice until you appease her needs. This pattern leaves you second-guessing your actions to gain back her favor. Imagine a man at a dinner table, glancing nervously at a woman across from him, hoping her mood will shift so he can finally regain her approval. His laughter is stifled, his passions muted. This evolving dynamic may even manifest as adjusting your social activities based on her preferences, erasing a once vibrant individuality in the pursuit of her satisfaction. Every interaction solidifies an invisible hierarchy, one where her perceived needs dictate your behavior, carving out space for self-neglect as you become increasingly confined within this architecture of approval. The final state of emotional control often metamorphoses into an identity crisis. As the chains of dependency and expectation grow heavier, the essence of what it means to be a man starts to erode. Questions plague your mind. Who am I without her interest? What do I truly value? You've changed, molded, to fit the contours of her desires, while the authentic self fades into obscurity. The price of this dynamic is profound, leading to a persistent vulnerability and a loss of agency. With every moment you spend catering to her emotional landscape, the foundational pillars of your masculine identity crumble. The pursuit for her acknowledgement distracts you from confronting the bitter void of self-identity, showing how deeply entrenched this trap becomes. We will explore the devastating consequences of these mechanisms in the next chapter. It is time to unveil the real price you pay for this dynamic and the depth of what you have lost in this relentless chase for validation. And what Sartre saw happen to men who ignored the subtle mechanisms of emotional manipulation was a gradual yet devastating decline. These men, ensnared in a web of dependency and self-neglect, face the final price for seeking validation at the expense of their true selves. The consequences of their choices were not merely transient disappointments, but rather an existential unraveling that would echo throughout their lives. Prepare for revelations that cut deep into the heart of masculine identity and unveil the harrowing truth of what happens when authenticity is sacrificed on the altar of external approval. As the illusion of control solidified, the very fabric of masculine identity began to disintegrate. Each passing day, the once vibrant man slips further into shadows, losing sight of who he was without her endorsement. Do you recognize this feeling? The laughter you once shared fades, replaced by the hollow mannerisms of acquiescence. Ambitions once fueled by passion become extinguished dreams, abandoned in the pursuit of her affection. The flicker of excitement dims, replaced by a pervasive sense of inadequacy. Each social interaction grows painful, with conversations becoming strained echoes of your former self. As if playing a part in a theater of desperation, you mask your confusion under the weight of expectation. But the most heartbreaking decline is the social isolation that often follows. Friends become distant, drawn away by your relentless pursuit of her attention, leaving you in a self-imposed prison of loneliness. Each moment spent drifting through your phone, waiting for interactions that feed your desperation, mirrors an addict seeking their next high. And the worst part is you know you've changed. The fire that once burned bright inside has been snuffed out. Your world becomes a spectrum of gray, where every day blends into the next, marked only by feelings of emptiness and longing. Until one day you realize you have become a shadow of the man you once were. Caught in a cycle of self-destruction, the patterns repeat endlessly. Your attempts to garner affection morph into a twisted ritual. Each rejection turns into a dare, challenging you to prove your worth just a little more. You attract the very abuse you yearn to escape, accepting crumbs of attention as if they were a feast. This is no mere relationship. It's a prison built upon the foundation of inadequacy and dependency. Each time you bend to her will, every lie you tell yourself to justify staying binds you deeper into the chains of emotional dependency. You are lost in a fog of desire, a cruel mistress who you chase with fervor, even as she drags you further into the depths of despair. In the final state of emotional destruction, you are left to grapple with a haunting silence. You see men around you falling into the same patterns, mirrored reflections of your struggles. You sit alone, asking yourself devastating questions. Who am I without her approval? What do I truly want? Do they even see me? The flicker of hope is dim, yet there's a whisper within, a bloodied promise that it doesn't have to end this way. We will explore the moment of awakening, an opportunity to reclaim what has been lost, a chance to escape the cycles that have imprisoned your authentic self. The path to liberation awaits, but only if you're willing to confront the darkness and rise from the ashes of your shattered identity. But Sartre didn't stop. At observing the problem, he urged us to confront it. A way out exists, an awakening that seizes your heart and mind. The path requires you to acknowledge your choices and the illusion of victimhood. You are standing at a crossroads where the freedom to reconstruct your identity lies ahead. Change begins with the understanding that you possess the power to choose, not just in matters of love, but in every aspect of your life. In that moment of clarity, a single thought rises above the noise. I am not defined by her approval. As realization dawns, it illuminates the patterns that once controlled you, revealing the chains of your automated reactions. In this brilliant flash of truth, you see the essence of Sartre's teachings. Your essence is yours to reclaim. You possess the ability to step outside the script that has been forced upon you, breaking the cycles of dependency and self-neglect. The gravity of your experience shifts. You recognize that the power to change was always within your grasp. This is the catalyst for your liberation, a fiercely compelling spark to reignite your authentic self. Taking responsibility is the first step toward true liberation. No longer can you blame others for your dissatisfaction. Embracing this reality will set you free. You realize that holding on to grievances is a weight that keeps you shackled. With every ounce of energy drained from seeking validation in others' approval, you reclaim your rights to forge your path. Picture an empowered resurrection, rising like a phoenix from the ashes of your former self. The choice now rests firmly in your hands to rewrite your narrative, to seize your autonomy. Sartre taught that every moment is a decision, a chance to define yourself outside the limits imposed by others. Each time you choose authenticity over approval, you walk further into the light of self-determination. The call to action is loud and clear. The moment is now. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are a creator of your reality. What will it be? Will you continue drifting in the shadows, or will you take definitive steps towards reclaiming your dignity? The echoes of your authenticity beckon, urging you to rise up and confront the fear that has held you captive. Every day presents an opportunity to awaken further, to embrace your individuality and autonomy fully. The next step requires tangible action, practical choices to guide you toward masculine sovereignty. Prepare yourself, for the path ahead is not merely a conceptual framework, but a concrete map for the transformation you seek. In the upcoming chapters, you will uncover powerful strategies to reinforce this newfound sense of self, laying the groundwork for a life no longer dictated by the approval of others. Your awakening is only the first chapter in this journey. What follows will empower you to build the life you've always envisioned. Are you ready to take action? Your sovereign self awaits. And now, Sartre shows us the way toward transformation. The awakening you experienced in the previous chapter must be met with action. Theory must become practice. It's time to turn those insights into concrete steps that will guide you toward reclaiming your emotional and psychological sovereignty. The path forward is illuminated by clarity and purpose. Prepare to take decisive action. First, you must establish emotional boundaries. Stop agreeing to things that make you uncomfortable. Politely but firmly communicate your limits. For example, when she asks you to accommodate her schedule at the expense of your own, respond with something like, "I can't do that. I have prior commitments." This simple act is a declaration of your self-worth and autonomy. Remember Sartre's teaching. When you establish your boundaries, you are asserting your reality against the expectations of others. Next, rebuild your social independence. Start reconnecting with activities and friendships that fulfill you. Go back to that hobby you once loved, plan outings with friends, and engage with a support group. When you prioritize these connections, you reaffirm your identity outside romantic relationships. Social independence nurtures self-esteem and reminds you of your intrinsic value. Sartre believed that forging genuine connections with those who share your values enriches your existence. To lay the groundwork for your independent identity, build a personal mission statement. This blueprint should articulate what you are passionate about and define your legacy. Ask yourself, what do I stand for? What principles guide my life? Write down these reflections, creating a tangible reminder of your purpose. Put up this document where you can see it daily. Use it as a compass when faced with decisions. Refer to it to remind yourself that your life is not defined by another's approval. Next, establish relational standards. Define the qualities you seek in a partner, ensuring they align with your core values. When you meet someone, consciously assess her behavior against this framework. Is she respectful? Does she support your aspirations? If she falters or manipulates, don't hesitate to walk away. Always maintain your dignity. Remember, relationships should serve and uplift you. Nothing less is acceptable. As you navigate this journey, think of reconstruction like forging a metal sword. First, you heat the metal, symbolizing the intensity of your experiences. You then hammer it into shape, crafting your identity through disciplined choices and actions. Each strike reinforces your character, tempering your resolve. This deliberate process of self-discovery allows you to cultivate a strong and independent self, free from external expectations. Finally, embrace the vision of the sovereign man you are becoming. As you reclaim your identity, you will notice the shift in how you relate to others. Your emotional independence grants you power, confidence blossoms, and you become less encumbered by fear of rejection. You'll ask yourself, who am I now? What do I desire without needing her approval? You stand on the foundation of your self-worth, a castle built brick by brick, fortified against the storms of others' expectations. This transformation is only the beginning of a new life filled with purpose and authenticity. Prepare for the next chapter, where we will solidify everything you've learned and embark on a journey to fully claim your power. The final call to action awaits, one that will demand every ounce of your courage, but promises unparalleled fulfillment and joy in return. If you made it this far, you are no longer the same man who first embarked on this journey. You faced uncomfortable truths and emerged with a clearer understanding of your identity and purpose. You've begun to dismantle the illusions that once held you captive, awakening to the power of your own authenticity. You are now aware, transformed, and ready to reclaim the life that rightfully belongs to you. This path is rare, and the wisdom you now possess is forbidden knowledge, out of reach for the majority of men. Few have the courage to confront the false narratives and the chains of expectation that society imposes upon us. You bear the weight of this truth and an obligation to share it. Your responsibility stretches beyond yourself. We stand on the precipice of an intellectual rebellion, where the understanding and insights you've gained must now shine brightly to illuminate the minds of other men. Together, we form a fraternity of awakened individuals, intellectual soldiers, ready to reshape the narrative of masculinity. Now, I call upon you to join this awakening mission wholeheartedly. Like this content if it resonates with you. Validate that you see the truth, because your acknowledgement fuels this movement forward. Share this wisdom with the man who struggles in silence, trapped by insecurity and emotional dependency. Imagine the impact we can have together, saving others from the despair you have tirelessly worked to escape. Subscribe to this channel so you can continue receiving the forbidden wisdom that challenges conventional beliefs and stirs the fires of your evolution. Your support is an investment in our mission, a unified effort to fight against misinformation and reclaim masculinity's rightful place in society. We are a rebellion against complacency, a revolution that demands authenticity in a world rife with pretense. Our brotherhood strengthens with each like, share, comment, and subscription. Together, we can break the chains that bind not only ourselves, but other men as well. As you connect with fellow awakened souls, you foster a community that encourages growth and accountability. This is our chance to forge a new path, where truth reigns supreme, and we support one another in our pursuit of purpose. The final manifesto resonates within us. We are awakened men, rising from the ashes of outdated ideals and tired narratives. We embody strength, courage, and authenticity, refusing to be defined by the expectations of others. Embrace this identity. Let it guide you through every challenge, every relationship, and every choice you make. The mission continues, and there is more to uncover. The upcoming revelations will challenge your understanding even further, revealing layers of truth that have yet to be exposed. As you move forward, remember this: to exist is to choose. Choose wisely, choose bravely, for your life is your own creation, a masterpiece only you can craft. The journey of masculine reconstruction has just begun, and the future is filled with uncharted potential waiting for you to seize it.